A baby saber-toothed cat, dark brown fur, still soft. It died 35,000 years ago, and last year scientists pulled it out of the Siberian ice, completely intact. But this cat is just the beginning. Inside the same frozen ground, a horse with liquid blood still in its veins, a wolf's head the size of a small child, and something far worse, something microscopic that our medicine cannot stop. The Arctic has been frozen for 50,000 years. Right now, it's thawing, and what's coming out of it will change everything we thought we knew. Under the Arctic tundra is a vault. It is called the Yedoma, a thick layer of ancient ice that formed during the last ice age. No oxygen gets in. The temperature never rises. Anything that falls into it stops decaying on the spot. Fur, organs, skin, blood, frozen in time. For tens of thousands of years, this vault has kept its secrets. But right now, climate change is cracking it open. The permafrost is thawing faster than at any point in human history. And year by year, body by body, the ice age is giving itself back. These are the most extraordinary creatures ever pulled from the frozen earth. Some of them are beautiful, some of them are terrifying, and one of them is a warning. Creature number one, the saber-tooth cub. Look at this. This is a saber-tooth cat, not a drawing, not a fossil, not a reconstruction. This is the real face of a real saber-tooth, and you are the first humans in 35,000 years to see it. The discovery. In 2020, scientists working on the Badyarika River in Yakutia, Russia, pulled a small body from the permafrost. They named it Matin. It was 3 weeks old when it died. A baby, caught in a landslide or a mudslide, buried instantly, and frozen solid. For 31,808 years, longer than all of recorded human civilization, it lay in the dark. What it revealed. Scientists had studied saber-tooth bones for centuries, but bones can only tell you so much. They cannot tell you what color an animal was. They cannot tell you the shape of its paws. They cannot tell you how thick its neck was. Metin told us all of it. First, the color. Every paleo reconstruction ever made showed saber-tooths as pale, tawny or white, built to blend into Arctic snow. Matin was dark brown, rich, deep, chocolate brown fur, short and dense, and still soft to the touch after 35,000 years. Every illustration in every museum on Earth was wrong. Second, the paws. Matin's front feet were wide and square, almost snowshoe-shaped. The pads were nearly as wide as they were long, built to walk on deep snow without sinking. A detail we never could have guessed from bones alone. Third, the neck. CT scans showed that at just 3 weeks old, Matin had neck muscles more than twice as thick as a modern lion cub the same age. This animal was born to kill. The brutal bone-cracking neck bite that saber-tooths were famous for, it was already being built in the womb. For the first time in human history, we know what a saber-toothed cat actually looked like. Dark, powerful, built for the cold, and far more stunning than anything we imagined. Creature number two, the Badagai foal. There is a place in Siberia that local people call the gateway to hell. It is a critter almost a kilometer wide and 100 meters deep, a giant scar in the earth where the permafrost has collapsed inward. The walls are exposed layers of ancient ice. The bottom floods with dark meltwater every summer. It is still growing. In 2018, miners working near this crater found a body, a foal, a baby horse, lying on its side, skin intact, hooves intact, tail, the tiny hairs inside its nostrils, even its eyelashes. It looked like it had died yesterday. It was 42,000 years old. The blood. When scientists drew samples from the body, they found something that stopped the lab cold. Liquid blood. Still liquid. After 42,000 years. The oldest liquid blood ever recovered from a prehistoric animal. Not trace evidence. Not residue. Actual blood that ran in the veins of a creature that lived before modern humans had spread across the planet. And that is when the scientists realized what they were holding. Because if there is blood, there could be DNA. And if there is DNA, there could be a way to bring this animal back. The cloning attempt. A team of scientists made over 20 attempts to extract living cells from the tissue. They failed every time. The blood was liquid, but the DNA inside was fragmented beyond use for direct cloning. But the work is not over. CRISPR technology, the same gene editing tool now being used to work toward bringing back the woolly mammoth, could theoretically be used to rewrite the genome of a modern horse, piece by piece, until it matches the lean horse. Not a clone, something closer to a resurrection. The gateway to hell buried this animal for 42,000 years. It might also be the door that brings it back. Creature number 3, the giant wolf head. In 2018, a man walking along a riverbank in Yakutia found something sticking out of the thawing ground. It was a head, a wolf's head, severed at the neck, still covered in fur, and it was enormous. The head measured 40 centimeters from snout to neck. A modern gray wolf's entire body, head to tail, is between 66 and 86 centimeters. This prehistoric wolf's head was nearly half the length of a modern wolf's entire body. What this animal was? This was the megafaunal wolf, an extinct type of Canis lupus that roamed the mammoth steppe during the Ice Age. These were not just bigger wolves, they were specialists, evolved to hunt horses, bison, and the young of woolly mammoths. The brain is still inside the skull. The ears are intact. The lips are pulled back slightly, showing teeth that could crack bone the way you crack a twig. 40,000 years in the permafrost. This is its face. Why it disappeared. When the last ice age ended, the great herds collapsed. The horses and bison died back. The mammoths vanished. And these giant wolves, built only to hunt the biggest animals on Earth, had nothing left to eat. They did not evolve fast enough. They did not adapt. They simply died out. This head is the last face of a predator that ruled an entire continent, a predator that the Earth has not seen since before the first human city was ever built. Creature number 4, the Tumat wolf pups. Nearer the Siberian village of Tuma in 2011, and then again in 2015, scientists found 2 wolf puppies buried in the permafrost. Both female, both about 2 months old, both perfectly preserved, even down to the color of their fur, which was black. Which to buy black fur matters. Black fur in wolves has always been linked to domesticated dogs. It was thought to be a mutation that only appeared after wolves and humans started living together, a sign of mixing with early domestic breeds. These puppies were genetically confirmed to be completely wild wolves. No dog ancestry, no domestication, 0. And yet they had black fur, which means black coloration existed in wild wolf populations 14,000 years before we ever thought it did. The last meal. But here's the part that changes everything. Inside the stomach of the first puppy, scientists found a chunk of partially digested meat. Gray, covered in long golden yellow hair. It was woolly rhinoceros, a 14,000-year-old wolf puppy's last meal. And the meat was so well preserved that scientists sequenced the entire genome of a woolly rhinoceros from it, from inside a dead wolf's stomach. The first time in history that an Ice Age animal's full genome had been recovered from inside another animal's gut. What the rhino's genome revealed. The genome showed no signs of inbreeding, no signs of genetic weakness. The woolly rhinoceros population, right up to the moment it went extinct, was healthy and stable. It was not dying out slowly. It was not struggling. It was erased, suddenly, by a climate shift so fast that a thriving species simply ceased to exist. 2 wolf puppies, 1 last meal, and a ghost that had been hidden inside them for 14,000 years. Creature number 5, the pathogen Pandora's box. Everything we have shown you so far has been remarkable. But this last one is not just remarkable. This one is a warning. The permafrost is not only a graveyard for animals, it is a freezer, and everything a freezer holds stays preserved. Not just bodies, not just fur and blood and bone. Pathogens. The 2016 anthrax outbreak. In the summer of 2016, a heat wave hit the Yamal Peninsula in northern Russia. A section of permafrost that had been frozen since the 1940s thawed open. Inside it was the body of a reindeer that had died of anthrax, sealed in the ice for 75 years. When the ice broke, the spores went into the air. Dozens of people were hospitalized. Over 2,000 reindeer were dead within weeks. And this was a 75-year-old pathogen, not an ancient one. Ancient viruses. Scientists studying the deep permafrost have revived viruses that are 30,000 years old, 40,000 years old. In one case, 48,500 years old. Giant viruses, physically larger than some bacteria, with hundreds of genes. When given a host cell in the lab, they immediately hijacked it and began to replicate. After 50,000 years, frozen in the earth. Still infectious. The superbug from the ice cave. In a Romanian ice cave, scientists recently found a strain of bacteria frozen in 5,000-year-old ice. They called it Cycrobacter C65A.3. It was resistant to 10 modern antibiotics, including colistin, the last resort drug used when everything else has failed. Resistant, thousands of years before humans invented any antibiotics at all. Here's what that means. We did not create antibiotic resistance. We just gave an ancient war a bigger stage. Microbes have been fighting each other with biological weapons for millions of years. The tools existed long before we did. And now, as the Arctic warms at twice the global average rate, these tools are being released from the ice, one thaw at a time. Scientists are watching, studying, trying to understand what is coming. Because the permafrost does not just hold the past. In some ways, it may be determining our future. A saber-toothed cub with fur as dark as midnight. A foal with blood that refused to freeze. A wolf's head the size of a small child. Two puppies who sealed the secrets of an extinct species inside them. And ancient pathogens, patient beyond imagination, waiting for the ice to break. The Arctic held all of this in silence for tens of thousands of years. Now, slowly, steadily, and with no sign of stopping, it is giving it back. We are living in a unique moment, a window briefly open into a world that was lost long before the first human city ever rose. A world of giants and monsters and creatures we can barely imagine. The permafrost is not just melting, it is speaking. The question is, are we ready to hear what it has to say? Which creature broke your brain the most? Drop its name in the comments right now. I want to see it. And if you want to go deeper into the world that built these animals, the predators, the megafauna, the ice age itself, subscribe and stick around, because we are just getting started.